The campaigners who defeated the government's plans to cut their hospital services. We'll ask what today's decision means for other London hospitals. Has fought battles over changes to London's hospitals, but the Court of Appeal ruled today that A&E and maternity services in Lewisham would stay, even though the government wanted to downgrade them as part of a rescue plan for a neighbouring health trust. Well, this is the first time the government's new process for dealing with failing NHS organisations has been put to the test in a court. Local campaigners say they're thrilled. The Health Secretary says he'll look into changing the law to give the government a freer hand to change health services. Our political correspondent Carl Mercer is in Lewisham tonight, gauging reaction. Carl.
Yeah, because it was a year ago today, exactly, that these people found out that the local A&E here at Lewisham and the maternity units may be in danger of being downgraded. Since then, they've done a lot of this. They've chanted, they've marched, they handed in petitions to Downing Street, and as you say, they've been to court twice to try and save their local A&E. Today, they found out that they'd won. A conventional celebration at the end of what's been a relentless campaign. A year ago today, the people of Lewisham learned their A&E and maternity units were to be downgraded. This morning, the government lost a court battle to try and force those changes through.
This has been over a year of struggle and fight and galvanising local support. And my goodness me, can Lewisham really gather together and bring other people into our story.
We're really thrilled. We're really relieved that justice has been done twice now, and we've actually proved our point twice against the government, that the government were acting unlawfully.
I want to thank from the bottom of my heart the totally magnificent Lewisham community. And tonight a celebration party at the hospital itself, a chance for staff to join in.
Just seeing the community out there coming together, it's very humbling. I'm just so proud to have been invited to be a part of this community. I'm emotional, I'm sorry.
Lewisham Hospital stand to keep their A&E and emergency services for another few years to come, and there's been a huge outpouring of support by the people of Lewisham, by the GPs, and this couldn't really have happened without their support, and we've been really humbled by it.
The story began last July when, for the first time, a special administrator was sent in to try and sort out the problems at the South London Healthcare Trust, which ran 3 hospitals, the Queen Elizabeth in Woolwich, Queen Mary's in Sidcup and the Princess Royal in Bromley. It had annual debts of more than £60 million and was losing £1.3 million a week. The administrator ruled the trust should be broken up, with the hospitals taken over by others in South London. Most controversially, he said the Queen Elizabeth should merge with Lewisham, a decision that would lead to the downgrading of A&E and maternity services at Lewisham. Back in July, local campaigners got that decision overturned. It was ruled that the administrator had acted outside his powers. Today, the Court of Appeal agreed. The Health Secretary, Jeremy Hunt, said today he completely understood why residents of Lewisham didn't want change to their A&E services, but said it was his job as Health Secretary to try and protect patients across the whole of South London. He said the government was now looking at ways of changing the law to make sure that at a time of great challenge, the NHS will be able to change and innovate. What Lewisham has shown, though, is that change in the NHS is often very difficult and very lengthy.
It's incredibly difficult to make changes and modernise services in London and throughout the NHS. And what we do know is that the NHS is facing a very serious funding crunch in the next couple of years. It has a system of hospitals around which care is based, which is designed for the last century, not this century.
Tonight in Lewisham, though, those sort of thoughts won't be entertained. Their fight is won. Their A&E will remain. Well, of course, the challenge now is to make the 2 A&Es work together. Of course, the one at Lewisham will remain, so will the one at Queen Elizabeth Hospital in Woolwich. And that is a real challenge for local hospital administrators and local GPs. Having won the court case, that's only really half of the battle.
And of course, Carl, we've been reporting on other local campaigns about hospitals across the capital and planned changes for them. Will today's court decision affect those campaigns?
No, I don't think it will. It is very specific about the role of that special administrator who was sent in to sort out the problems in South London. But there are some big things coming up in London. Tomorrow, perhaps, the Health Secretary will rule on the potential closure of 4 A&Es in North West London. And then next week, we're back in court again, a judicial review into the potential closure of the A&E at Chase Farm Hospital.
Carl, thank you. Some other news now, and 2 men have been arrested over a fatal hit and run in West London. A 60-year-old woman was killed as she crossed the road with her granddaughter. It happened in Brentford on Boston Manor Road yesterday afternoon. Police say the car, a damaged red hatchback, drove off without stopping. The woman's 7-year-old granddaughter